a book report on Wuthering Heights.
But only the first part, because I just saw the Andrea Arnold movie. I'm not about to go read some thick British romance in a day. Guys, come on.
Wuthering Heights is a love story.
Not all love stories are ghost stories, guys. It's like squares and rectangles. What the fuck? Come on.
Written by another Bronte named Emily and published in 1847 under the name Ellis Bell. It is the only book she wrote due to dying.
That's true. That is true.
Anyway, it is the story of this family that finds a little black boy on the side of the road and takes him in and names him Heathcliff and baptizes him and teaches him how to speak English and stuff.
Because he was brutally stolen from Africa and thrown into a strange land he did not understand and apparently abandoned on the side of the fucking road in England. And let's get this straight. England is a place where it is always cold and damp and wet and there's a fog and nobody ever loves you. And basically everyone is just poor and getting raped in either their sex parts or their wallet parts or their feelings parts because England apparently sucks according to these books.
Anyway, so the family is the dad and his son Hindley and his daughter Catherine. So Hindley fucking hates Heathcliff and he's all, you fucking black piece of shit, you are a piece of shit and you steal and I hate you.
It is totally inferred that this is because he is pissed that his dad likes this kid, and so I guess the best way to make your super Christian father think you're worthy of his love is to just be a hateful fucking asshole all the time. Asterisk.
Kidding, it is totally not his dad. It is totally not. His dad fucking hates it when he does that. It is awful. One time his dad takes him out back and hits his hand with a stick and then goes up to Heathcliff and is all, I sincerely hope you derive no pleasure at all from his punishment. And Heathcliff just stares because what the fuck else do you do in a totally strange and hostile place surrounded by strangers? Anyway, so that guy does shit like almost run Heathcliff over with a horse and then beat him when no one is looking.
Which is apparently also just like a typical English childhood as we've already established.
So one night Kathy is singing and her head is on her dad's leg and they're all by the fire and her dad is all, why can't you always be such a good lass, Kathy? And Kathy is all, why can't you always be such a good man, father? And her dad just sits there staring at the fire because what do you say to that?
Kiddo, I am sorry that at such a young age you had to learn that this is how life is. That we are constantly trying to be better than we are and constantly failing. And every bit of progress can leave us in an instant, and only if you are really lucky are you even aware of this. And sometimes it is all just more than anyone can bear, and I love you, and I'm so sorry, but just know that we all know love, and we all know pain, and that is really and truly something. Asterisk.
I mean, seriously, how do you say that to an 11-year-old girl who lives alone with her family on like a moor or something? Double asterisk.
A moor is a type of habitat in the temperate grassland, savannas, and shrubland biome found in upland areas characterized by low-growing vegetation on acidic soils and heavy fog, basically moody bleakness personified.
And so Heathcliff and Kathy, I'm sorry there's so many footnotes in this one, spend all their time together. They have jokes and a sort of language that passes between their eyes. They speak with the position of their arms to their bodies, their necks to their legs, and what passes between their lips is nothing more than the air they breathe. Then Kathy's dad dies and Hindley takes over and is just like, get that fucking black devil in the fucking barn with the other fucking animals and fuck him unto death too, just like that other chick in that other book. And Kathy is both furious at this and paralyzed by the pain of the death of her father. And so Heathcliff breaks rocks all day and serves everyone and sleeps in the barn. And then Kathy finds him one day and takes him out for a run and gives him some bread and she hits him. And he grabs her hand and then she grabs his hair and she yanks out a fistful and opens her hand and it blows away and she watches it go and he just stares at her. When they get back, Hindley has him struck across the back with a stick until he bleeds through his shirt while Kathy screams and they cover her mouth and drag her off and he keeps being hit until even the dogs are like crying and stuff. And so another time Heathcliff is like thrown naked into a room and starved, I guess. And so anyway, they spend as much time together as they can. They look at each other and they look at the moors and in this way they speak. They breathe. She has to see his back and kisses his blood like it will do something. And they both almost smile. She says, hey, look at that light. Is that where the new people live? I'll fucking race you there. And then she does. And she fucking falls and gets bit by a fucking dog and taken into these people's houses. And he is all, Kathy, are you okay? And they're all, we should hang you now and avoid the trouble in the future. And he is all, fuck you all, you stupid cunts. Like it is nothing. Like language does not even convey meaning.
Because it fucking doesn't.
And Heathcliff goes back and is just straight punished because he can't leave Kathy. And because he can't leave until Kathy comes back because... Sorry, hold on.
Because the idea?
Because the idea, God bless you, Lee Stein, because the idea of never seeing her again is essentially the same as not breathing or something. Anyway, Kathy comes back and she makes fun of Heathcliff for being dirty and he is really pissed that suddenly she is using these words and these thoughts that are not their words and their thoughts and fuck you. Then the next day, he asks this lady there who is nice to clean him up, and he goes to Kathy, who has a desk, and the guest is all, look at him all dressed up like a circus monkey. And then he throws shit at the guy, and it's just like, fuck this place, man, fuck everything, and fuck everyone forever. And then that night he hears Kathy say how that rich kid totally proposed to her, and she totally said yes. And that's supposed to be like so good, right? But so why is her heart dying? And she says how it is dying because she loves Heathcliff, because he is wild like her, because they're the same, and her heart aches to not be near him. But she totally can't marry him because of his shitty station.
Because the only way for social advancement is to open your legs and spit out a baby, because fuck everything, I guess.
But he can't even hear it. He can just like hear the sound of his life going, so he just fucking runs. Okay, so now it's several years later.
Or 6 months. But listen, I saw that movie and that guy was way older. But then, again, puberty, it's fucking magic.
Totally magic. So Heathcliff is a total gentleman with manners and a full vocabulary and some fucking money. And he goes back to Wuthering Heights and rents a room from Hindley, who keeps calling him Black Devil.
That is totally not what he calls it.
And gradually just keeps asking for more money because he's a pathetic asshole who only blames others for his troubles. Anyway, Heathcliff goes to see Kathy, and there's mad tension, guys. She asked him how he could leave her. Did he never think of her? And he's all, bitch, who just got married? Seriously, it's Kathy. That's the answer. None of you were saying it, so I thought I would make sure that you knew it. Kathy. So he says, my plan was to see your face and revenge myself on your fucking monster of a brother and then kill myself in that exact precise order. He says, but that was before I changed my mind. Of course it was. He says, I will never leave you ever again. He says, my life has been bitter since I last heard your voice. He says, I have kept going. He says, only for you. She is doing that thing with her face where she is trying to swallow her tears through her eyeballs. Guys, from here on out, it is just like straight eye-fucking each other in the feelings in front of everyone. People are all, Kathy, Kathy, they can see you guys. And Kathy is all, I don't give a fuck. And she doesn't even say it. She just shrugs while she and Heathcliff eye-fuck the shit out of each other. Meanwhile, Kathy's husband's sister, Illabel, is all about Heathcliff. She is all about that dude's dick.
Which is a thing that exists in her imagination and also, though, probably inside his pants.
And she is there to supervise all their hangouts, but doesn't.
Because of reasons.
Kathy and Heathcliff are totally on a cliff. Yeah, it's funny. Kathy knocks him to the ground and boots her boot to his face. She says, why did you abandon me? He says, you forsook me. He says, you married that dude. He says, what the fuck was I supposed to do? This basically keeps on for like days or weeks or months because it is a moor, and who the fuck knows what happens on moors? One day Heathcliff comes in and they go at it with their words.
Because words mean fucking nothing.
And Kathy is weeping, and her husband comes in and is all, hey, asshole, listen, I have put up with you being here because my wife is fond of you, but fuck you, get out of my house. And Heathcliff is all, fuck this guy, Kathy. He is a coward. You know that. How the fuck did you want this guy and not me? How the fuck did you become this fucking person? And then her husband just like runs at Heathcliff, and everything is fucked city. Heathcliff leaves. He just goes.
Wikipedia says that he and Isabel get married because of jealousy and pain, or whatever, which is as good as a reason as any to get married. Also, guys, I'm totally skipping a lot of stuff to construct a narrative I'm happy with, so deal with it.
And he elopes with Isabel.
Because who the fuck needs happiness?
And Kathy, pregnant, having seen the only man she ever loved, the only face she ever tattooed on the inside of her eyelids, run away, lays dying in her room. Whether it is heartbreak or the consumption or some other horrible condition of life, I do not know. And so she's dying, and Heathcliff gets into the house and he sees her, and it is just more of them wanting to know how they could have hurt each other. Why did they leave? Why did you do this? And just laying bare their hurt hearts to the world.
Which is each other, because that is all they have, that is the world to them.
And then he leaves and she's dead, and he shouts, oh, please don't go, please don't leave me here where I can't find you. Whatever. And so then he hits his head against the tree until he can't anymore, and he gets into the house and he just like lays there. And he picks up her hands and puts them in his hair, and he tries to pull his own hair out, and he kisses every part of her he can find as though this too will do something, as though it will help, as though the air that passes through his lips is the only bit of life he has left, and that is the last thing he has to give. Then he goes and digs up her grave, but he can't get it open because he's fucking standing on it and stuff because of physics, and so he can never see her again. But that is okay because her face is tattooed inside his eyeballs, and there are some things you will never forget. I rate this story as containing all of the moody love stories ever written in the entire history of sadness and love.
And seriously, go see the Andrea Arnold adaptation. It is a work of fucking art, you guys.
Thank you again for coming to the 18th annual book report. We're generally here the second Tuesday of every month, except for today, which is a Monday. We're not a bad racket.
Not at all.
and tip your bartender. And God bless you, everyone. We love you. Good night.